it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we are making this adorable Sloth Lovey. It is so, oh my gosh, so cute. I had so much fun making this and I cannot wait to share it with all of you. So let's get into the supplies and then we'll get into making it right away. Big huge thank you to Red Heart Yarns for providing all this yarn for this project today. I'm using 6 different yarns and 4 different types. So it's all Red Heart yarns, but I'm using Super Saver yarns. So in the Lovey part, I'm using denim for Super Saver. And then for the white color, it's actually Red Heart Baby Hugs. It's a very soft acrylic yarn, and this color is called Frosting. It's just a white color. So the denim is Super Saver, and then the white is Baby Hugs. As for the Sloth itself, we are using Hygge yarn. I'm so in love with how soft Hygge yarn is, and this specific color is Latte. So it's like an off tan brown color. And with that Hygge yarn, I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in Cafe Latte, actually. It says Cafe Latte. So Latte in Hygge and Cafe Latte in Red Heart Super Saver. And we're using 2 strands at the same time in the head and the arms working with this Hygge yarn. And then we're using a little bit of charcoal yarn. This is Red Heart Super Saver in charcoal here. And that's just for the eyes and the claws of our little sloth. And then I'd used a little bit of black yarn for Red Heart Super Saver, or it's actually Red Heart with Love, but you can use Red Heart Super Saver for embroidering the nose and the mouth, and if you want to embroider eyes as well. But I am going to be using safety eyes for the eyes today. But just a disclaimer, if you are going to be giving this to a baby, make sure they are supervised, especially if there are small parts on your piece. You never know if they're going to fall off, and babies can obviously choke on those things. So just be supervising any babies who are playing with this if you do use safety eyes. I'm going to be stuffing the head with some polyfill too. So you'll need some polyfill for the head, but the arms are just worked flat. There's no stuffing in my arms, but if you want to stuff yours, you can definitely do that. We are using 2 different crochet hooks today. I am going to be using an eye crochet hook for the arms and the head, and then I'm using and an eye hook for the lovey part as well. An eye hook is a 5.5mm crochet hook. Also, the G size crochet hook, which is 4.25mm, is going to be using for the face, the gray part of the eyes, and the claws. So we'll be using a G crochet hook. Now these 2 crochet hooks are from the Etsy shop, Would Be Fancy. You can see they are cut in an ergonomic way. It is hand carved ergonomic crochet hooks, and they work so well. You'll see me throughout this tutorial and all of my tutorials that I use these crochet hooks. They are so wonderful. Check out the Etsy shop Would Be Fancy for these types of crochet hooks. Also, you're going to need a scissors and a yarn needle, and I have an extra piece of yarn here for my stitch marker. If you have a legit stitch marker, you can use an actual stitch marker, but I just use an extra piece of yarn to mark my rounds because we are working in continuous rounds for the head and the arms of this piece. So a stitch marker, but using a yarn needle and a scissors are going to be great for sewing things together and cutting your yarn and everything. So those are all the supplies you're going to need. I will have everything listed in the description of this video. You'll get the free crochet pattern on YARNutopia.com, and then all the supplies will be linked there as well. All of my socials will be there: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Reddit, all the places. Follow me on social media, and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. A big thank you to my dad, who's over my shoulders, zooming in, getting in real close so you can see all the stitches where they need to go, and I have to say a huge thank you to you. I was going to say I have to thank you. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribing to my channel, and being here with me and crocheting. Join our group on Facebook, YARNutopia World. Again, that'll be in the links in the description of this video, and we'll see you there. And if you make this, hashtag YARNutopia in your work. I would love to see your crochet pieces. All right, let's get started and make this adorable Sloth Lovey. We're going to start off with making the square first, the granny square. We're going to start with this denim color first, and we are going to make a slip knot. So put your short end over your long end, then fold this down, and then pull your long end through and pull tight. There's your slip knot. You can insert your eye hook. We're going to start with the eye hook, which is 5.5 millimeters, and we are going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Then in the third chain from the hook, we are going to start by making our square. So we're going to put 3 double crochets into that chain. So yarn over, go into that chain way over here, then yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. That's a double crochet. Yarn over, go back in, and make another double crochet. Okay, and one more. Just like that. So there's 3 double crochets. Now we are going to chain 2, 1 and 2. That's going to be the corner. We're going to put 3 more double crochets into that same chain right here where we worked these first 3. So yarn over, go back in, make 3 more double crochets in there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're going to do this 2 more times. So we are going to chain 2 and then put 3 more double crochets in here. So chain 2, just like that, then put 3 more double crochets in that chain. You can kind of see I'm working around because granny squares are worked in rounds. I know it's kind of weird. Squares are worked in rounds, but that's how crochet is. So we're working around this circle. So you can kind of see more than half my square is done here. So I have to do one more side. So chain 2 and then put our last 3 double crochets into that center. You could have started with the magic ring and that works as well, just making these stitches, these 12 stitches around. So there's 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, then we're going to finish this round by chaining 2, 1 and 2, slip stitch to the first double crochet. So ignore this chain 2 here. Just go into the first double crochet stitch, which is right here. Okay, yarn over and then pull that through and through. Now we are going to, you can see the square right there. Now we are going to turn our work around to look at the back. Okay, and we are going to slip stitch into this chain 2 space. So go in, yarn over, pull through and through. And then we're going to, you can either chain up 3 for the first stitch. So 1, 2, and 3. So this would be considered our first stitch of this round. And in this corner here, then, this to start, we are going to put 2 double crochets. Or I guess it's just 1 because this chain up 3 counts as a stitch, I'm sorry. So it'll be 2 double crochets, which this chain up 3 counts as a stitch, and then there's this 1. Then we're going to chain 2 for the corner, and in that same chain 2 space, we're going to put the other 2 double crochets to finish the corner. 1 and 2. Okay, so each corner is going to be 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. That's in all the corners. Okay, so we're going to hop over to this corner over here. Let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Yep. Actually, we're going to make a solid granny square. If you wanted to make a regular granny square, just hop over to this corner and make your 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, hop to each corner. But we're actually going to be double crocheting in each of these stitches to make a solid granny square, and that's what the pattern calls for. So we're going to actually double crochet in each one of these next 3 stitches. So yarn over, go into this next stitch right here, and double crochet. So we're making a solid granny square for this lovey. So I'm just double crocheting in each of these next 3 stitches, just like that. Now we're at the next corner here, so we are going to put 2 double crochets in the chain 2 corner space, 1 and 2. Then we are going to create our corner for round 2, so we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to put 2 more double crochets into that corner. 1 and 2. Okay, and then we're just going to repeat what we did from this side and this corner for each side and each corner until we get back around. So double crochet into each stitch, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to put in the corners 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So do that all the way around, and then we'll go on to the next round together. Alright, I'm finishing round 2 here. I just have to double crochet in these last 3 stitches, and then we're going to actually slip stitch to our first stitch, which is our chain 3 right here. 1, 2, 3. Right at the top of that chain 3 stitch, we're going to go in there. So first our front and back loop, and then yarn over, pull it through and through. Perfect. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to change color, so I'm going to chain 1 and cut this yarn, and then I'm going to pull that through and pull tight. We're going to turn our work around, so we're looking at the other side, and we're going to start in a corner. And I'm going to grab this white color, it's called Frosty in Baby Hugs. I'm going to go into a chain 2 corner space, and we're going to hook on that yarn and pull it through. Just like that. Then we are going to, I like to twist my yarn a little bit so it's secure, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And we're basically just going to repeat round 2 there. So in the corners, put for your beginning corner, put 1 double crochet, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets, because that chain up 3 in the beginning counts as a stitch. So in fact, it looks like 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. And then we're going to double crochet into each stitch on the side. Don't forget this chain 3 stitch here. It's a little difficult to work in those chain 3 stitches, but it counts as a stitch, so we don't want to miss any stitches. And I'm going to work over the top of this straggler so I don't have to sew it in later. I suggest you sew in your ends as you go so that you don't have a whole bunch of ends at the end here to sew in. But as you can see, I'm just double crocheting into each stitch across till the next corner, and then in the corners I'm putting 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. I am going to be doing this until round 16. You can do it as big as you want your square to be. Just repeat round 2 basically. Now I'm going to be changing colors after every 2 rounds. So I'm going to do 2 rounds of the denim, and then 2 rounds of the Frosty, and then 2 rounds of denim, and 2 rounds of Frosty. And I'm going to fasten off just like how I showed you with the denim, and then attach my next color in a corner, and then go on to the next round changing color. We want to turn your work after every single round. That is a must. And then that's just how the pattern is. You just repeat what we did for round 2. So you can see in round 2 we turned our work and we slip stitched into that corner space to chain up 3 and go on to our next round. So do that as well for round 4 now. Actually, I'm just continuing talking, so why don't you just continue watching me and we can go on to round 4 after I finish this last side. I'm just double crocheting, so I'm going a little faster, but if you need me to slow down, you can obviously pause this, and if you need me to go faster, just fast forward this. So it's that easy at the comfort of your own home. So I'm going to finish this last side here, and we can go on to round 4 right now. Just have these last 3 stitches here. 1, 2, and 3. So like I said, going on to round 4, we're going to slip stitch to our chain up 3 here. Okay, I'm not changing color yet. I want to do 2 rounds of each color. So slip stitch, come on, yarn over, pull through and through. Okay, then we are going to turn our work. Actually, I guess it doesn't end up in the corner. So we're going to chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, double crochet into each stitch I thought I was going to end up in the corner, but I guess I didn't. So that works great. So we're just going to double crochet into each stitch, just like this. And then we're going to do our corners exactly how we did them for the last round, and put 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet in there. Now after this round I will be fastening off and changing color, and then I will be starting in a corner for round 5. Okay, so you can just follow along with this. Just make your square as big as you want it to be, and once I finish round 16 I'll come back and I'll show you what to do next. Alright, I just finished round 16 and I cut my yarn already. I just wanted to fasten off. So let's pull it through and through to slip stitch to the first stitch, and then chain 1, cut your yarn, pull this all the way through the chain 1 there and pull tight, and that is secure. And then you can sew in your ends. To sew in your ends, all I did was just take a yarn needle, and I did this for all my rounds as I went, and I just sewed in my ends here. So we're just going like this. And I did 16 rounds, but you can do as many rounds as you want to make your lovey as big as you want, just repeating the thing here, and then just cut any extra that may be in there. There we go. This is what your square should look like. Lovely. So now we want to make the lovey head and arms, so we're making the sloth. So I'm going to start by making the head next. Let me grab some Hygge yarn and some brown, and we'll be right back. Alright, so I have these 2 strands of yarn here. This top one is Hygge yarn in this brown color, and then I have Super Saver, Red Heart Super Saver in this brown color as well. All the names of these yarns and colors and everything are linked in the description of this video, so if you want the same exact colors, I'll put them in the description in the materials you will need section of this project. We are going to be using 2 strands at the same time, so I can see my stitches a little easier, because Hygge yarn by itself is just, it's furry and it's kind of difficult to see the stitches in my opinion. So we're going to hold these 2 together like they are 1 strand, and we are going to make a slip knot just like how I showed you earlier, just like that. And then we are going to use the eye hook as well, because this is a little thicker with the 2 strands. So your stitches will be tight with the eye hook, so when you do stuff this, the stuffing won't go through the stitches, but it is thicker yarn. So to start with the head, we are going to chain 2, so yarn over, pull through, 1 and 2, and we are going to be working in continuous rounds. And let me grab a stitch marker so I know my rounds here. I'm just going to grab another piece of yarn here so I have that handy. And for round 1, we are going to put 6 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So go into this chain right over here, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Okay, it's going to be tight, but it is going to work very well. So there's 1 single crochet. So go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. There's 2, here's 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if you wanted to start with the magic ring on this one as well, you can do that, but I just prefer to start with the chain 2 method. Now I'm going to stick my stitch marker in here to mark my rounds, because we are working in continuous rounds, so no attaching to the first stitch. We're just going to work in continuous rounds using single crochets. So let's go into this first stitch. For round 2, it says to increase to 12 stitches. So we are going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So, whoops, put 2 single crochets in this first stitch, 1 and 2, there we go. Hop to the next stitch here, 3 and 4. Okay, make sure you still have your both strands on your hook each time you make a stitch so you don't lose any yarn behind your work. This is 5 and 6, 7 and 8. This is very tight. 9 and 10. And the last stitch here has 11 and 12. So now we have 12 stitches all the way around, and we can move our stitch marker up. Going on to round 3, we are going to increase to 18 stitches. So in this first stitch right here, you can see it behind my stitch marker, right here, we're going to put 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and then we're just going to put 1 single crochet into this next stitch right here. So just put 1 single crochet in there. And then we're going to repeat that sequence of these 3 stitches all the way around. So the next stitch gets 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then the next stitch right here gets 1 single crochet.
Here are some things you can do when your phone's offline.
Did you hear that? Some phone went off. Okay, let's go into the next stitch, putting 2 single crochets in the next stitch and 1 single crochet in the next. Okay, so just repeat that around. At the end of this round you'll have 18 stitches, and I'm gonna go shut my phone off and I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I have 18 stitches around now. Going on to round 4, moving my stitch marker up, we are going to increase again. We are going to put 2 single crochets in this first stitch, 1 and 2, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet in each of these next 2 stitches. So 1 in this one, and then 1 in this one. And then we're going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So 2 single crochets in this next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of these next 2 stitches. 1 and 1. At the end of round 4, you should have 24 single crochets, so I'm just going to repeat this sequence and I'll be right back. Alright, moving my stitch marker up, I have my 24 stitches around. Going on to round 5 now, we are going to increase one more time. Let's put 2 single crochets in this first stitch right here, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches for this round. So you can kind of see how the increase works. 1, 2, and 3. And then repeat that sequence all the way around. So put 2 single crochets in this next stitch right here, 1 and 2, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. And then just repeat. At the end of round 5, you'll have 30 single crochets. That's our last increase round. So I'll come back and show you how to do round 6. Alright, just finishing up round 5 here. Now I have 30 stitches around. This is how big I want our increase to be. So moving on to round 6 now. Rounds 6 through 12, we are just putting 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So it'll start to bowl up like this. So we're just putting 1 single crochet into each stitch around for rounds 6 through 12, working in continuous rounds, just putting 1 stitch in each stitch. I'm going to do that, and when I finish round 12, I'll come back and show you we're going to decrease for round 13. Alright, I just finished round 12 here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this is what your piece should look like. So now we are going to decrease. So let's move our stitch marker up and go on to round 13. We are going to single crochet these 2 stitches together. So go into the first stitch. Oops, let me get this out of the way. There we go. Yarn over, pull through, go directly into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 of these loops on your hook. Okay, that is a single crochet decrease, single crochet 2 together stitch. Now we're going to single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, just a regular single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And now we are going to repeat that whole sequence all the way around. So single crochet 2 together, go into this next stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and that's a single crochet decrease. Now we're going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And it's going to get pretty tight in your stitching. I mean, it already is pretty tight, but we're going to be decreasing to less stitches, so it's going to be closing the bottom of the head here. Okay, so now we're going to single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet in the next 3 stitches. At the end of round 13, you'll have 24 stitches again, so I'll do that and I'll come right back. Alright, I have 24 stitches around now. For round 14, let's move our stitch marker up. You can start to see it's closing here. And for round 14, we're just going to single crochet around, no decreasing or anything or increasing. We're just putting 1 single crochet into each stitch around for, again, 24 stitches around. So I'll do that and then I'll show you round 15 next. Alright, I'm going to move my stitch marker up. Going on to round 15, we are going to decrease now. So let's single crochet these first 2 stitches together. So go into this first stitch, yarn over, pull through, go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. And now for this round, we're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. 2 stitches this round. So single crochet in this next stitch, and then single crochet in this next stitch. And we're going to repeat that sequence all the way around. So single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And then just repeat. So at the end of round 15, you will have 18 stitches. So I'll do that, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I just have 18 stitches now. Going on to round 16, it's just going to be a repeat of round 14. We're just going to be single crocheting in each stitch around. So very simple round here. I'll single crochet around and then I'll be right back. Alright, I'm moving my stitch marker up. I have 18 stitches around. The bottom here is closing pretty well. So now we're going to decrease again. So for round 17 here, we are going to single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet in the next stitch, and then just repeat that sequence all the way around. So single crochet 2 together, and then single crochet into the next stitch, and it's going to close up really good at the bottom here. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be right back. Alright, I have 12 stitches around. I'm ready to fasten this off. We want to leave this circle open so we can stuff this later and sew everything together. So what we're going to do is slip stitch to this next stitch right here, our first stitch right here, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook, and then chain 1. And then we're going to cut our yarn long because we are going to use this for sewing to the lovey part, the blanket part. So cut your yarn and then continue pulling it through that chain 1 and pull tight. And that is fastened off. You can remove your stitch marker, and then this is what your piece should look like. Okay, so we're going to stuff this, but we want to attach the face first. So what we're going to do is set this aside. Let me grab some white yarn, and we will make the face that's like an upside, it's similar to like an upside down triangle, so we're going to make that next. Alright, for the face, like the backing of the face, we're using the white yarn, and we're going to make a slip knot. Okay, and we're going to use the G hook for this part, okay? And we are going to chain 6. So yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, I lost my loop here. 5 and 6. And we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook and each chain across. And what I like to do is turn the chain towards me and work in these back ridges here. So let's go into the second chain right here. Okay, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. There we go. Yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, and then single crochet in each of these next 4 chains here. So at the end of row 1 you will have 5 single crochets, and working in the foundation chain is always the most difficult. Here. There we go. And our last one. Okay, then we can chain 1 and turn our work. So chain 1, turn the work around. Going on to row 2, let's see here, face. It says to single crochet into each chain across. So single crochet in each chain across, or I'm sorry, each stitch across. That's 5 stitches across here. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, that was row 2. We just single crocheted across. Going on to row 3, we have to chain 1 and turn our work around. Row 3 says to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch right here. 2 single crochets in there. 1 and 2. And then 1 single crochet in each stitch until you get to the last stitch, and put 2 single crochets in the last stitch. So I'm just putting 1 single crochet in each one of these middle stitches, and there's 1 stitch left right here. I'm putting 2 single crochets in the last stitch. So at the end of row 3 you should have 7 single crochet stitches. Going on to row 4, we're going to chain 1 and turn the work around, and we are just going to single crochet across. Very simple. Just put 1 single crochet in each stitch across, very similar to row 2. And again, you'll have 7 single crochets on this row. Then for row 5, we are going to repeat row 3. So chain 1, turn your work around, put 2 single crochets in the first and the last stitch, and put 1 single crochet in each of the stitches in between. And at the end of row 5, you will have 9 stitches across. And I'm almost there. You can just continue watching. And then going on to row 6, we are going to chain 1, turn the work around, and we are going to repeat what we did for rows 2 and 4. So just single crochet 1 stitch in each stitch across, and again you'll have 9 single crochets for row 6. Then for row 7 we are going to increase, putting 2 single crochets in the first and last stitch, and 1 single crochet in each stitch in between. So you'll have 11 stitches at the end of row 7. And then row 8 is just a single crochet across, so for 11 stitches. Row 9 is an increase. You'll increase to 13 stitches, putting 2 single crochets in the first and last stitch. And then row 10, we're going to single crochet across. So I'm going to just repeat that until I have my 13 stitches across at the end of row 10. I'm going to have 13 stitches across. So I'll do that, and then once I finish row 10, I'll show you what to do next. Alright, I just finished row 10, so this is what your piece should look like. Like I said earlier, it's kind of similar to like an upside down triangle, just not too pointy at the bottom here. And after row 13, we're just going to continue to single crochet just around these 3 edges here. And we're going to end at this corner right here. So I'm going to single crochet down this side, single crochet across this side, and then single crochet up here and end right there. So I'm just going to continue after row 10, sorry. I have 13 stitches across on row 10. I'm just single crocheting down this side, just wherever your hook fits is where you should single crochet, just like this. And then, like I said, just single crochet all the way around up until you hit this point, and then I'm going to fasten off. Alright, once you come back to the beginning here, we're just going to slip stitch to this stitch right here. Just go in, yarn over, pull through, and through, just like that. Chain 1 and cut your yarn long for sewing because we are going to sew this to the head. So pull that all the way through and pull tight, and we'll be sewing this to the head like this. Okay? And we want it to be kind of low like that. So that's how that's going to look, but we want to add the eyes and embroider the nose and mouth before we add this, or we sew this to the head. So let's grab some charcoal yarn. I'm going to set this aside, grab some charcoal gray yarn, and we are going to make an eye patch kind of thing. So behind a sloth's eyes are kind of like a shape behind it. So we're going to make that shape. So let's make a slip knot. Using this charcoal yarn, we are going to use the G-sized hook, so the same hook we used for the face piece, and we are going to chain 5. Let me just move this over here so we can see my pattern. Okay, chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In the second chain from the hook, we are going to put a slip stitch. So go into that chain, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on your hook. Okay. Then we're going to single crochet into the next chain. So go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. In the next chain, we are going to half double crochet. So yarn over, go into that next chain. Oops. I know it's difficult to see the charcoal yarn, and it's a chain. There we go. In there, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 of the loops on your hook. That's a half double crochet. And in the last chain here, we are going to put a double crochet. So yarn over, go into that last chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Okay, so it looks like this so far. Now what we're going to do is chain 1 and turn the work around. So chain 1 here, turn your work this way, and we are going to single crochet around this whole piece till we get back to the beginning here. So I'm just going to take my time because this is a very tight stitch. It's a very small piece. So we're just going to single crochet in each one of these stitches right here. And I want my stitches to be very tight because the space on the white part of the face is very small area. And we still have to embroider a nose and a mouth. So I'm just going to really, where your hook fits is where you should put your single crochets. When you get to this tip, this point here, I ended up chaining 2 and then continuing along this edge. So I'm turning this way, and I'm just continuing then, oops, and these stitches are very difficult on this side, just to get your hook in and make the stitch. But if you can make it work, in the end this is going to be so cute and worth it. And this piece is so small, so it's temporary. So I'm just trying to search for a spot to insert my hook and single crochet. Okay, I'm almost done. You can just continue watching here. I'm just going to insert my hook in here. There we go. And then I'm going to work up this side as well. Oops. Come on. There we go. Okay, and then slip stitch to the first stitch right here. Yarn over, pull through and through, and then chain 1. Cut your yarn long for sewing. Pull that through that chain 1 and pull tight. And now we got to shape this piece to be kind of like that. Okay. So you want to make 2 of these. Okay, I need this to be more pointed. That's where I chained 2. I want this to be more pointed. And when I sew this on, I will shape it to the shape I want it to be, and that will be how I want it to look. So I made this piece, and then I made another one just like this. Okay, so they're the same. So what we will have them be looking like is the points are going to be outward, so on the outside, and they are going to slant up. Okay, so the wider part is toward the inside, and that's going to slant up like this. And then the other one is the same. So they're both going to slant up, if you can kind of see it, like that. But a little separated, more like that. And then we'll put the black eyes in there. So I am going to sew these to this piece, and I'll show you how I'm going to sew one of them, and then you can sew your other one. So I'm going to take this little strand here, make sure it's behind my work. Oh, camera. Sorry. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to place it right here. Okay, I'm going to take my yarn needle. I'll just show you this one eye, and then you can do the other one. So I'm going to take my yarn needle, yarn my needle with that long strand. Okay, and I'm going to slant this up, like I said, with the point down, right about there. And we're just going to go in and out of this white piece. Okay, very simple. Kind of pull it toward the edge there, and then hide any strands behind the piece. It'll be hidden and nobody will see it. There we go. Awesome. Then once this is fully attached, we can fasten this off. And what I usually do to fasten this off is keep the yarn to the back of my work, like this. Okay, make sure it's shaped how you want it to look, like that. Then we keep it to the back of the work, and then we just take it underneath a couple of stitches here, like this. Keep your finger in the loop, come back through the loop, and then pull tight. And you can do that once or twice, and then just cut this a little shorter, but you don't have to cut it all the way. And then this will be hidden behind this piece when we attach it to our head. So I'm going to sew on this other eye, and then I'm going to add safety eyes. If you wanted to add different eyes or crochet your eyes, you can do that. But I'm going to add these 2 pieces and then my eyes, and then we have to embroider a nose and a mouth. Alright, I just attached the 2 eyes here, and I have attached also safety eyes for the pupils of the piece. So what I did is I got these safety eyes that look like this. They look like little pins and like a screw. And I got this on Amazon. I'll link it in the description of this video. And then the backing looks like this little piece here. Okay, so I just shoved this little eye through here, and then I took the backing and just put it like that and just snapped it in and on, and it's really secure. I mean, you can't even pull anything off or anything. So that's what they look like. And I just want to make a mention though, if you are using safety eyes, obviously make sure to monitor any babies who are going to be using this, because these, I mean, eventually could, or they could chew it off or play with it, and that's a choking hazard. So if you don't want to have this choking hazard on your piece, you can embroider with black yarn. Just take some black yarn on your needle here and just embroider a black pupil with yarn, and that's perfectly fine too, because I'm going to actually be embroidering the nose and the mouth, and I'm just going to be going from the back of my work into here and just making a nose. Okay, just going around and around. Okay, just like that. There's my nose. And my mouth is just going to be like a little smiley face, I guess. So I'm just going to go from the back here, and then in and out like this. And like this. That looks super cute. Oh my goodness. I actually made one off camera a few days ago too. I'll show you what it looks like. Just a prototype. If you want the mouth and nose to look like this, you can just embroider the nose and have a line and this. And I might end up doing that. This is cute though. So then we want to attach this to our head here. Okay, and we're just going to sew this white part on just like we sewed on the eyes, just going in and out of this headpiece. And once that's attached, we can stuff this and attach it to our lovey. Alright, I just stuffed this head. I attached this face here, so this is what it looks like so far. So I just put some polyfill in there, and now I'm going to sew this to my lovey. So I yarned my needle with these 2 long strands that we cut when we made the head. And I'm going to make my lovey into like a diamond shape here. So there's the points are up and down and then side to side. And I'm going to put my head here like this. And then we're just going to go in and out of the lovey with this. And I'm going to use my fingers to kind of hold them down like that. And I'm going in and out. My dad's trying to be silly behind the camera. Okay, we're not. Stop. My dad's making jokes behind the camera on how silly this thing looks. Okay. It does look silly, but it's cute. It definitely looks like a sloth or like a lemur type of thing. It's silly. He's just making jokes back there. Thinks it's funny. Okay, so I'm just going in and out. Obviously, you can see I'm going in through there, out through there. Whoops, I dropped my hook. So I'm going to just sew this on, and then when I'm ready to fasten off, I'll be right back. Alright, you want to end on the underside of the lovey like this, and we are just going to fasten this off. So I'm just going to go around a few of these stitches on the underside. Okay, and then keep my finger in the loop, and then come back through the loop, and then pull tight. Okay. And then I'm going to take this strand and pop it right back through to the other side and kind of just pull this through, and hopefully it comes through. There we go. And then just hide this on the inside of the sloth head. Then we can cut the extra yarn, stretch it out, and there, it's so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I want to add arms. So we can grab some more Huga and the brown yarn, and we can make arms next. Alright, exactly how we worked with the head, using both of these strands at the same time, we're going to make the arms as well. So I have these two strands together, we're going to make a slip knot, and we are going to use the eye hook again, which is 5.5 millimeters. So let's grab that. And for the arm, we are going to work in continuous rounds, so if you want to grab a stitch marker or another piece of yarn to mark your rounds, you can have that handy. And we are going to chain 2. Now if you wanted to start with the magic ring, you can start this piece as well with the magic ring, but I'm just going to chain 2. And we're going to work into that second chain from the hook, putting 6 single crochets in that chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be pretty tight here because I'm working with 2 strands of yarn, just like how the head was. Excuse me. 5, excuse me, and 6. Okay, so we are going to work in continuous rounds. So let's move our stitch marker in there. Going on to round 2, we are going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So basically repeating round 2 of the head. And this is really tight. So I am going to do that off camera because it's going to take me a little while to get through these stitches. And just put 2 single crochets in each stitch around, and once you have 12 single crochets around, I'll come right back. Alright, I have 12 stitches around. I'm moving my stitch marker up, and now rounds 3 through 12, we are just putting 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So just for however long you want your arms to be, really. I'm going to finish on round 12. This will start coming up and making like a tube kind of thing. So I'm going to just single crochet 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Yep, that was right actually. Sorry. I just want to put 1 single crochet in each stitch around for 12 stitches around until I hit round 12. Once I finish round 12, I'll come back and we can fasten this arm off. Alright, I just finished round 12 here, so this is what your arm should look like. We're going to fasten this off, so just slip stitch to the next stitch, yarn over, pull through and through. And then chain 1, cut your yarn long for sewing, and then pull that all the way through and pull tight. You can remove your stitch marker, and we can then make the claws. Okay, so flatten your piece like this. Make sure that the long strand is on one end here, just like that. And we're going to set this aside. I'm going to grab some charcoal yarn, so dark gray yarn. I'm going to move this aside. The dark gray yarn we used for the eyes, we are going to make a slip knot. We are going to now grab the G hook. Okay, no longer using the I hook. The G hook is 4.25 millimeters. And for the claws, we are going to, let's see here, or fingers, or whatever you want to call them, fingers or claws. They are going to be chaining 6, so yarn over, pull through, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we are going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook and each chain down here. So go into the second chain here. I like to work in the back ridges of my chains. They're just cleaner that way. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through, but don't pull too tight, okay? Just make your slip stitches pretty loose. Okay, go into the next chain, yarn over, pull through, and through. Hop to the next chain, and just keep doing this all the way down your chain. Okay, so you should have 5 slip stitches down here. There's my last one, and 1 claw is complete. Now sloths have 3 claws, so we are going to make 3 of these. So let's chain another 6. So yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we're going to slip stitch into the second chain from the hook and each chain down this row here. So we'll have 5 slip stitches again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. And we need to make 1 more claw, so let's chain 6. 1, 2, 3, oops. Sorry. 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then slip stitch into the second chain from the hook right there, and then each of these chains down this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we should have 5 slip stitches on each claw. Okay, then we're going to chain 1 and cut our yarn long for sewing and pull that through and pull tight. Okay, so this is what your piece should look like. Okay, then we're going to grab our arm here. We're going to sew this to this piece. And what I ended up doing, actually, is taking this, just like this, and taking both of these strands. I actually used both of these strands. Okay, you can sew it however you want, but this is what I did. I'm just going to yarn my needle. I know I bent my needle because I was fighting with some stitches. So we're going to go in one side like this and go into the arm like that. Then we're going to take the other side and do the same thing with this strand as well. And then the easiest thing to do is just to tie those strands in a knot on the inside of the arm. I know you can't see what I'm doing here on the inside of the arm, but I'll try to show you as well here. So I'm taking these 2 strands from the claws. Okay, I'm pulling them tight. Okay, sorry, I'm moving over. This is like distracting. There we go. And then I'm going to tie them in a knot to the inside. Sorry. I know you can't really see, but I'm just tying them in a knot, okay? You know how to tie knots, so just do that, and then once you have that all figured out and attached, let me just attach this and then you'll see. I just want to pull it tight. Oh, see? It's loose. So I'm going to do this off camera. My dad's laughing at me like it's so funny. You try to do this. I'm going to tie this off on camera, or off camera, sorry, and then I'll be right back and we'll sew this to the lovey. Alright, I got it to work. It was hard to put this inside out, so I kind of just shoved this down into the arm, and then like I was able to tie it into a knot, and so you can see I'm pulling at it and it's secure, so it's good. So now we can make another one just like this. If you need to, rewind this and make another arm exactly like this, and once you have 2 arms we can curl our claws and attach this to our lovey. So I have one already attached and made here, and I just want to curl my claws because they're curly. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. So now I'm coming to this side and I'm going to attach this one. Now I'm not stuffing these, but if you want to stuff your claws you can, but I'm not doing that. I'm just going to yarn my needle with those 2 strands that we cut for sewing. Okay, and I'm just going to put it like this here, this way. I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Yep. Same way here. Okay, and I'm actually going to be attaching it to the head, not to the lovey. So I'm going to go in and around these base stitches, just like that, and then we're just whip stitching, so I'm just going through these stitches at the end here. Okay, and then in through the head stitches, and in through the arm stitches. And make sure you go through both layers of the arm. And like I said, you can stuff your piece if you want, but I just thought flat arms were fine. Okay, and you can see I'm pulling tight on my stitches, or on my sewing, so that there's no loose pieces. And especially for a little baby piece like a lovey, you don't want to have any loose pieces. That would be bad. So I'm just going to finish sewing this right here, and then I'll show you to fasten off, and then we'll be done with our Sloth Lovey. How fun was this project? Seriously, I had the best time. I have to say a big thank you to Red Heart Yarns and Yarnspirations for providing all this fun yarn. I love Hygge yarn. It was great to work with, and it gives a great texture like a sloth has. It was just fun. And all these amazing colors too. The color range that Yarnspirations has on Red Heart Yarns is just wonderful. So I just want to show you now, I'm just finishing up here, finishing on the underside of the arm. Let me just pull this, sorry. There we go. And I'm just going to tie this in a knot underneath the arm. So we're just going to go into a couple of stitches right here, hold my fingers in that loop, my stitches are pretty tight here, wow, sorry, there we go, come back through that loop and then pull tight. And then you can just hide this inside of the arm, just like that. Cut any extra, and we are complete. Just sew in the rest of your ends if you have any out, and curl your claws. And there it is. How adorable. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to my dad who's filming this whole tutorial, editing it, and posting it up on YouTube for everybody. Thank you to you for watching. Check out all my socials and my links in the description of this video. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Until next time, happy hooking!